When the Sports Dispute Tribunal cancelled the Football Kenya Federation elections in December last year, a ruling was made that there wasn't enough public participation on the elections. The SDT also ruled FKF's electoral board was not properly constituted, and in the case before the tribunal, FKF has sued the Sports Registrar over modalities of organizing the forthcoming elections.
We engaged her severally to try and find solutions around those issues she was raising. But we found that her positions were not changing, even when we presented matters we thought required some flexibility.
I think it would be, the highest degree of unfairness to be able to surcharge somebody who wants to ensure that he or she protects the law of this country.
Registrar Wasike has indicated she will not recognize the outcome of the polls because the exercise has not been conducted as per the dictates of the Sports Act. She has instructed FKF to register interim officials at the county offices, but the incumbent FKF leadership remains defiant of the idea.
Football, since it has one constitution at national level of FKF, that constitution applies to all its members across the country.
The authority of the registrar prescribed under this act, would give her, the office bearer, the opportunity to want to know that you want to be registered as a national sports organization or a national sports entity.
Among issues raised by the petitioners in the case include the composition of the 48 FKF branches, now counties, where they argue the Constitution of Kenya 2010 remains supreme and only 47 counties will or should be recognized. The petitioners in support of the registrar argue that FKF has repeatedly ignored directives to conform to the Sports Act despite constant reminders.
We are a national sports organization. We are prepared to file our returns with the registrar after elections. We want to conduct our elections using our constitution and the electoral code.
You cannot purport to play by the rules during the 90 minutes, but you apply the jungle rules before the match and after the match. Football is a game of rules.
The cross petitioners in the case also argue that FKF guidelines on the electoral code public participation conduct was improper. They also say FKF election requirement that aspirants need to be active members in 3 of their last 4 years only favors the incumbent.
They are asking the tribunal that following your ruling on 3rd of December last year, that the subsequent participation and special general meeting we did were improper, were not done well, and they should therefore be cancelled.
Despite several reminders that they need to comply with the law or the act with which they want to derive their legitimacy, they have refused to comply. They have demonstrated before and even now that they do not even bother complying with the FIFA statutes.
Sport Dispute Tribunal instructed the FKF to go through again a new adoption of a new electoral code. So this new electoral code will be the binding document. This will not be the standard FIFA electoral code.
FIFA has already issued an ultimatum to the incumbent FKF leadership to hold county and national elections before the end of March. Therefore, county elections have been scheduled for March 14th, while the national polls are set to be held on March 27th.
We also got communication from FIFA that you will cite, which says, and gave us an ultimatum, that our election must be conducted based on our constitution and based on the electoral code that was passed by members on 14th of January.
There are certain fundamental mistakes that have been committed, are being committed, and will be committed, continue to be committed if we do not usher in a new leadership that knows exactly what is supposed to be done.
We can be flexible and give an additional month, but the first trimester of 2020 will have to hold the FKF elections.
And as the Federation maintains that failure to hold the upcoming elections may attract a FIFA ban, the cross petitioners have instead given the sentiments a wide berth.
The consequences of not finishing our elections, the cross parties want, is Kenya then would be banned.
This is not the first time Kenya will be banned, if Kenya will have to be banned. But in my view, the persons who, if that ultimately happens, would be responsible for the ban would be the leadership of FKF.
Reports indicate that plans are in the offing to register a new football federation if the current Football Kenya Federation maintains its stand not to conform to the Sports Act.
We do not wish to split football in Kenya.
Nobody is afraid of elections, save for them, because the roadblocks that they are putting, are basically meant to bar anybody else who has an ambition to challenge the inept leadership we are currently witnessing.
So, what really awaits the ruling? Will the tribunal dismiss FKF's petition and order the registrar's guidelines regarding the election to be followed? Or will the SDT side with FKF and allow it to ignore the registrar to conduct elections as per their FKF constitution? The answers will be made public on March 17th.
We are prepared to follow the law. We want to be heard about why football in Kenya now needs to move forward.
Any ruling, therefore, in the matter before the tribunal must be premised on the tenets of the Sports Act, on the tenets of the Constitution 2010, on the tenets of the FIFA statutes.
We'll give you a decision on 17th March 4 p.m.
Benjamin Mwaka, Ebru TV, Sports.